What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Before we get into the video, I want to shout out those who donated Snapchats or Cash Apps on the live. Timepiece Esquire, Exotic F7 Savannah Kitten, The Big Pete, Great Ace, Daniel Trejo, D Cisco, CMXV, Matt S, Big Rob 626, Palm Isaac, Alejandro, Mark Tubalino, Nick, Ray, Trev the Tyrant, Lali, Rob G, Sammy Sosa, Boyce, and Zane. Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. Let's get to today's topic of discussion. So, as we know, I did a video yesterday. Lucky from Hood Stocks. He was interviewing somebody, and then the last 8 minutes of his podcast, he did the damn thing. He let it be known he's the only one in the studio now. The muzzle is off, the leash is off, and he's going to speak his mind. He spoke it in those last about 8 minutes of that podcast. Go check it out. He called out some people. He gave his opinions on some people. And apparently, he and Compa Raider, he had some words for Compa Raider. And, you know, I've said it, like, I don't know any of these dudes, man. But I've said for a while, like, I think Compa Raider's probably a really good dude, man. He gets to drinking, and, you know, we all make stupid mistakes. I disrespected a dude named Jerry, drunk as hell on a live. And Jerry was somebody that I liked, but he was acting, you know, I felt disrespectful, and then I went overboard, and, you know, I apologized. He didn't accept it, and that's what happens when you drink and you act a fool, right? So, Compa Raider seems like he's a really good-hearted dude, very hyper, very animated. But Lucky has an issue with him, or just had some words, you know, an opinion, and voiced his opinion. And but Lucky did say that in regards to everyone that he had mentioned, that knuckle up or shut up. And unfortunately, Compa Raider clapped back in a video, and he was intoxicated. I think Lucky was buzzed when he said what he said, and Compa Raider made his reaction video, his response video last night, talking to Lush. I'm not a fan of Lush. I don't have anything against him. I don't talk bad about him. I just feel he's always he comes off as really thirsty. And it seems as though him and Compa Raider have a connection. They're friends. And Compa Raider was like, you know, saying whatever he had to say about Lucky, and Lush was like, yeah, but explain it. Like, you know, to him it was content. I have to agree with something that Compa Raider said. Before I get into the rest of it, I have to agree with something that he said. He said, he has my phone number. Why did he go to the internet with it? And I agree with that. I've said before that, you know, now, like, so in the beginning, I never had beef with anybody. I still don't. But I never had people that would talk shit about me. There's a lot of people that do now, right? Initially, when it started, I would call people behind the scenes. I wouldn't get on the internet. I would call people like, hey, what's up with this? And it was always, you know, nah, you know, this and that, my bad, this and that. And then I figured out what YouTube really is, right? I figured out what social media really is. There is no, anybody on YouTube, it's really not that, right? And it's not worth going back to prison. That said, Compa Raider has accepted the fade. He's saying he wants the fade with Lucky. I've said repeatedly, one man's fair one is not necessarily the next man's fair one. You know, a fair one can start with a fist fight, and when somebody doesn't like how it's going, that it's not going their way, then it could get ugly, and it could get ugly fast. And what is it over? I'm not saying, I'm just like generalizing. Let's say Compa Raider and Lucky meet up. Where do they meet up? Where's a neutral spot they can meet up? Who shows up? What's involved? Like, you know, when you have two men, I tell people when I used to mentor people in self-help, I used to remind them the average human being, the average normal person that's never been to jail, they go from 0 to 100 as far as anger and you know, violence. They go from 0 to 100. Those of us that grew up in the world of violence and criminality, we start at 80. We don't go from 0 to 100. We're at 80. We're parked there. We go from 80 to 100. That's a little tiny window. Very tiny. And for those that are starting at 80, violence is usually the solution, right? It shows in these call outs. And people are going to say, well, you just said it's not like that. It isn't. For the most part, 99% on social media, these call outs are not real. And everyone knows the authorities pay attention to every single one of these channels. Believe that if they miss something, somebody will let them know. Hey, did you see that? It's a topic of conversation. It's the modern day novela. It's the modern day All My Children, Days of Our Lives, As the World Turns, all mixed in one. All of it's mixed in one. I personally hope that these two men pick up the phone, come to an agreement, and get their money. Because things can get out of hand very, very fast. And imagine at the ages those two are picking up a case. If you get a 15-year term right now with 80%, 85%, I don't even know if they still have 80 and 85%. I'm pretty sure they do. But if you pick that up at the age you are now, you're pretty much done. You're go sit down for a while, and you're gonna go to a 3 or 4 yard, and you may be asked to perform, and that could turn into a death, your own, a killing that you commit. Either way, you're done. You know, as content creators, as businessmen, you both touch a lot of money. And you're able to live lives that a lot of people envy, especially those behind the walls. I guarantee you would have zero sympathy. Again, I tell people, if you want to find sympathy in prison, it's in a dictionary. Just grab one of those, because that's the only place you're going to find it, right? But you would be, people would look at you like, the fuck was that, homie? You really threw it all away for that. A real camarada, a righteous camarada, will be disappointed in you. Like, serio? You threw all that away because this vato hurt your feelings? You were fucking bad bitches driving a nice car, nice pad, you had feria, and this vato hurt your feelings? How many vatos you gonna whack around here over feelings? You know, the vatos that aren't your camaradas are going to say, you got down, homie. Fuck that, eh? Vato can't be talking about you. That's a vato that's gonna stay in prison his whole entire life. He believes he's made it because he's behind the walls. But in secret, he's asking his old lady to be faithful. And he's like been down 18 years. He wishes he was out. And he's happy to see that you fucked yours off. There's a whole cast of characters behind the walls, man. Luckily, I was around dudes. I saw dudes, bona fide killers, legends, telling youngsters in the law library in Pelican Bay, hey, homie, you're not fighting your case? Like, what are you doing in here? You know, because vatos would go to the law library to talk, to communicate. And they'd see him and be like, hey, how old are you? Hey? How much time you doing? You fighting your appeal? Because I see you just talking, homie. Like, you don't want to get back out? I never forgot those interactions. Even when I felt and believed in my heart I was never going to get out. Those prison walls were where I was going to be encaged for whatever time I had on earth, right? But I still remembered seeing dudes who were bona fide at the highest levels telling younger raza, hey, why don't you try to get out, Holmes? If you got action, why don't you do that, eh? Take advantage of that. You want to fuck around and be a tough guy? Wait till your appeal's done. And then we got a lot of shit you could do. So, you know, I see those things and then I look at this and I see these two men, man, who are successful. Lucky from Hoodstocks is successful. Compa Raider is successful. He has a restaurant, right? He has different things, business ventures. But this alcohol, man, I haven't drank in 2 months. I feel great. I don't get the bad attitude that I would sometimes get from drinking. It's going to be what it's going to be. These bottles are going to do what they're going to do. I'm rooting for a phone call and some understanding. And let's move on from this bullshit and let's get that money, Holmes. Even if you guys, it turns out you guys don't like each other. If you're in the joint, you don't like each other, you just have to stay away from each other. Unless you really want to push it, then you're both going to grab a knife and punch holes in each other. It's not going to be nothing from here. You can get them from behind and all. Nah. You push the issue in there and make it a personal beef, then, hey, strap up, sell up. Good luck. But this ain't the joint. This is the streets. I'm sure you guys don't even live near each other. You guys don't have to interact with each other. And like I said the other day, yesterday, whoever Lucky talked about, take it as a learning lesson. Not everybody has to respond to everything. You know, I did happen to be nosy and tune in for about 10 minutes on the Hater World live last night, and Droops was on there. And you know what I saw a lot of? I saw a lot of people in the comments saying zero response to Lucky. They're not responding to Lucky. Play the clip of Hoodstocks. And I was just like, this is like, those vatos saying that? I guarantee there's people in their day-to-day life that they have pedo with, and they're not pushing that issue. But they want to see these vatos on YouTube beef. They want to see it get to a real level. That's miserable. That's why when people get in my comments and they hate, you know, I could easily engage them and then they keep commenting. I've done it a couple times. But not with super trolls. I'm saying people come in and they're disrespectful. I just block them. But every now and then I'll respond to somebody and then they'll wind up making 10 comments, not realizing that's engagement for my channel and it helps the algorithm. But for the most part, 99% of the time, I see a negative comment, whether it's directed at me or if it's racial or something like that, you're gone. That energy doesn't have a place in my vicinity. I like my surroundings to be positive. It does a lot for you. But that's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this, about grown-ass men. I believe they're both in their 40s. Compa Raider might not be. I believe Lucky is. And, you know, usually with time, we mellow. We've created enough life experiences to have examples to reflect on when we get in certain situations. So hopefully these two iron it out. They don't got to be buddies. They don't got to be friends. But they damn sure don't got to go to prison over some bullshit, some YouTube shit. The money you're touching right now, you won't be touching in there. And you will mind somebody. It's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.